Very good afternoon. Today, I would like to explain about the International Convention on Liability and Compensation for damage in connection with the carrier of hazardous or noxious substances by sea, HNS, and it is adoption on May 3rd, 1996. But it's not yet entry into force, yeah, because under law is not yet entering into force. Therefore, it is considered that the possibility in the future's legislation for international regulation. It's mean why it is very important. There is some reason. First, yeah, there is a fact. For instance, in 2010, there are more than 200 million gallons of crude oil was pumped into the Gulf of Mexico for a total of 87 days. Unfortunately, the oil rig was burned into explosion with a spark of fires, causing a fires. Yeah. Then there is another one in 2016, for instance, there is a medium-sized tanker spills 700 tons. It was also recorded in January at a port in South Africa, where crude oil was spilled during loading operation. Then seaborne trade continuing overall increase in recent years. So if you have a look at one, the number of ships is increasing. At the beginning of 2015, for instance, the world commercial fleet consisted of 89,464 vessels, and with the total tonnage 1.75 billion DWT. Then it seems that it increased by 3.4% in 2014. So it means that the number of a ship is getting increased. But I think there are so many ships is not moving now because of causing the pandemic COVID 2019. So it's also a different case because this fact is basically a previous one before there is a coronavirus pandemic. And you see that this one is the structures of international seaborne trade 2014. So if you have a look, this one, see this one spotlight. Between 2010 until 2015, there are 1.8 spill per year on average. The quantity of oil spill equal to 33,000 tons. So if you have a look, this one is the structure of International Seaborne Trade 2014, which consists of the majority. You see this one is the biggest one is crude oil 17%, then container 15%, iron ore 13%. Sorry, in minor bulk is a 15%. If you see this one is crude oil is considered the biggest one comparatively with the rest. Yeah, so that's the issue. And this is also another fact that HNS, there are 2,000 types of hazardous noxious substance regularly transported by sea. and there are also more than 200 million ton chemical trade annually by tanker. So it's quite many. Yeah, this is some source of the hazardous noxious substance. The example of hazardous noxious substance: sulfuric acid, hydrochloric acid, sodium hydroxide, phosphoric acid, nitric acid, LPG, ammonia, benzene, silanes, phenols, and many. So this means that there are around more than 2,000 types of hazardous noxious substances regularly transported by sea, and also there are more than 200 million ton chemical that annually. Then you see this one. This one is the symbols or the logos of dangerous goods according to IMDG codes. So this one is example of container ship carrying package HNS. For instance, this one is 5,000 in 2015. Yeah, type of container. This one is LNG. There are 420 in 2014, and there's a chemical tankers around 40, 70 in 2014. So it's, you see there is some increase in terms of number. This one also there is some increasing in terms of honor from 2050 to 420. This one is from 2016 until from 2016 to be 5,000 in 2015. Then LPG tanker from 940 in 2000 changing to 1,250. It's mean there is some increasing in terms of number on the ship for hazardous noxious substances. See, so it's, you know, that this is the, we can make some conclusion. The number of ship carrying hazardous noxious substances worldwide is growing, something like that. And another issues, if you have a look this one, see, the old chemical tankers, see this one, the old chemical tankers is also increasing, right? So this one is for instance, 3.6%, yeah, and medium is 16.2% comparatively with another ships in medium size, and this one is the composition is 2.2%, and this one is 3.8%. In totals, it's basically the number of oil chemical tanker is 11.8%. So this one is the contribution, yeah, contribution for hazardous noxious substances. Okay, in terms of the number, if you see this one is the number of for ship considering hazardous noxious substances is quite many, more or less, probably if you calculate that one uh, is around 16,000 fleet, yeah, or 16,000 of ships in the world. Okay, then this one is in term of gross storage is also similar, right? This one is a ship with is carrying hazardous noxious substances in term of gross storage, yeah, because there are VLCC and so on. So this one is in term of number of ships for hazardous noxious substances. See this one. So the biggest numbers in terms of gross storage also oil and chemical tankers. This one is the bigger one. Okay. So This one is some source in HNS incident, but the data is only for 1998 2003. Yeah, 1998 2003. So the biggest one in Asia, the biggest one of the incident in Asia, and then the second one in Europe, see that one, and America as well. Then there is in Oceania, the rest, Africa, and Middle East is only two. Okay, so it's very interesting why Middle East is a small number of HNS, because majority in the Middle East country is the exported states. Yeah. The state which are exporting HNS, hazardous noxious substances, to another country. Okay, that is the issue. And another one is only the importing states. Then the problem is if you have a look, there is a one, sorry, there are, see this one, 126 incident at the time in 1998. If you have calculate all, there are 126 incident of HNS, and the cumulative volume spilled is around 1,560,000 cubic meter. So it's quite very big. So this one is one of the reason why this convention is very important. So this convention is basically convention which is relating to compensation for any victims. Yeah. So this is a very important issues. Then this one is a potential consequences of HNS. Yeah, it will be causing the human health, death and personal injury if there is some explosion, evacuation of local population, impact on fisheries, impact on tourism, interruption of navigation and port navigation, and there is also clean up costs and impact of the environment. Yeah, there is some impact as well. Therefore, it is required preventive measures, clean up and removal costs. Then there is an impact of wildlife and toxicity, yeah, toward the marine species. It also requires restoration of sensitive habitats. So this one, the cause and the impact of the environment. Probably for the clean up cost is very easy. Yeah, sorry. For clean up cost is very easy to be calculated in terms of financials. But for the environments like this one, it's quite difficult how to calculate that's kind of the issue. It's also restoration is also not difficult to calculate one in terms of financials. So that is just basically the issues why hazardous noxious substances is a very important to be considered. Okay, so we only have 10 minutes remaining. Okay, any questions before 10 minutes remaining? So those are basically the reason why HNS convention is very important. So before I continue to another explanation, let me explain to you another international conventions which are relating to the compensation. So first, is, there are many, CLC Convention, 1969. Okay, so this one is also another convention which is relating to compensation. So C is civil liability compensation convention. Okay, there is another one. What is it? Number two is fund convention. Okay, there is a very big relation between CLC 1969 and fund convention, and this one is, there is another one 1992. Okay, and there is another one, number three. There is another convention called Bunker Convention. Then this one, CLC Fund and Bunker Convention, is basically convention which are already entry into force, yeah, and already implemented. This one, okay. Then what is the difference with HNS? So the most important one is basically the substance which are covered by its convention. So I give you the example. For instance, there is a ship here. Yeah? There is a ship here. Yeah, and there is also, this one is a draft here. Yeah, and this one is considered cargo. Okay, this one cargo. Yeah, so this cargo. Okay, let's tell you. This one is engine room. And this one, see that one, is a cargo. CLC 1969 and is basically relating to the oil cargo. If there is some accident happen, then it causing the spill. Supposing there is a hole here. Yeah, there is some hole here. This one is oil spills. Wah, sudah saya hapus. There is a oil spills here. Sorry. And the oil spill here, yeah, causing the pollution. So if the pollution is coming from a cargo, it is possible to be compensated according to CLC 1969 or 1992, and also fund convention. So that is the issue. Okay. So if there is some oil cargo, but it's also there is some how to say that one, another requirement. The cargo on the oil must be, for instance, the oil should be or shall be persistent oil. if it is persistent oil, then it is possible to be compensated according to CLC 1969 or 1992 and Fund Convention. However, for the Bunker Convention, yeah, before I give you straightforward in HNS, so it's different. For the Bunker Convention, if there is spill from the operation of a ship, normally coming from the engine room, because the engine room there are many. For instance, these lubricating, from the lubrication, then from the fuel oil, from the consumption of the engine, and so on. Therefore, it is another problem that if there is some pollution from the engine room or because of the operation of the ship, then it will be compensated according to another convention. It is a Bunker Convention. So that is basically some convention which is relating to the compensation instead of hazardous noxious substances convention. Okay. Any questions?
Not yet, sir.
Okay, it's clear, yeah? Then, how about the hazardous noxious substances? So I explained to you previous one to make sure there is some. So if you see this one, each substances having different convention. Each substances on the location of the cargo will have a different location. Okay. So hazardous noxious substances, in this case, the substances shall be different with CLC, fun, and bunkers. But there is another one that if there is some explosion, see this one. This convention is not talking about the if there is some loss of life or injury of the people, yeah, loss of life and injury of the people. See this one. This one, then there is no any I mean, there is not covered by. Okay, so this one is we only have 1 minute remaining. Let's see with so already explained to you the difference between CLC conventions and also another convention, CLC 1969, Fund Convention, and Bunker Conventions. So if you have a look, that condition is basically there are several different, yeah, different for each convention. So CLC 1969, yeah, or 1992, and also fund convention. So fund convention is basically for additional finance or compensation if uh, fund from or money from CLC 1969 or 1992 is not enough, then it will be additional compensation from fund convention. This one, this one is regulation. Therefore, the victim will be paid by insurance. And for fund convention, then victims will be paid by IOPC fund. This case. So victim will paid by insurance for CLC 1969, and victim will be paid by IOPC fund. And bunkers conventions also, the victim will be paid by insurance. So that is the condition, yeah. But already explained to you, type of oil is also the location where the oil spill is coming from. Another important one is there is another convention which is relating to these issues, right? So HNS convention, instead of substance spills, because the substance is not oil, but also there is another compensation if there is loss of life and injury of people. So this is a different with the another convention comparatively with CLC and flood and also bunkers, because in this regulation is not covering if there is loss of life, and also the bunker convention is also is not mentioned that issues. So the HNS convention is also considering the loss of life and injury of people. Okay, so the HNS convention will establish a two-tier system for compensation. So there is two levels, same as a fund convention, CLC plus fund, uh, to be paid in the event of accident at sea. In this case, involving hazardous and noxious substances such as chemical. Then you see this one, it covers not only pollution damage, but also risk of fire and explosion, including loss of life and also personal injury. So those, therefore, is quite the coverage compensation is different with another convention. Yeah. So the compensation two-tier system, okay, it's mean first will be paid by insurance, Then another one is HNS fund. That is therefore is same as CLC plus fund. So if there is some incident, yeah, or incident, sorry, if there is incidents, sorry. So two-tier system, the meaning of two-tier system is there is incident and causing some pollution. The two-tier system first, then it will be paid by insurance. The second one, it will be paid by HNS fund. The concept is same as the CLC and fund convention. So this is the issues, yeah, the issues. So it's similar with the CLC and fund convention. So first, it will be paid by insurance. There is some incident. Then a second one, then it will be paid by International Oil Pollution Fund. IOPC Fund is the name of organization. So this one is also means two-tier system. This one and this one, insurance and HNS fund. So this is the meaning of two-tier system. See the one. The second tier of the compensation will be paid from HNS account. Right? Made up contribution from the receiver of NSS or importing states. Receiver of HNS means that basically is importing states. That is the condition. Okay. So see, this one is the illustration. Compensation two-tier, two-tier system. When accident of oil spills occur, there will be there is some see tier one, this one will be paid by ship owner. Ship owner mean in this case is will be paid by insurance. Normally is insurance will pay. Then later on the HNS one in terms of state party shall pay compensation to persons suffering damage. So this one is will be paid by HNS, same as what I explained to you before. This one is two-tier system. Okay. Then what does the HNS in this case? What does HNS? The most important one is any substances. So according to this regulation, it means that mentioning any substances, materials, and articles, yeah, carried on board a ship as a cargo. So the most important one is a cargo. Bearing in mind, it's mentioning a cargo. Okay. Related to 1 to 7, this one is oil versus oil carried in bulk as defined in Regulation 1 of Annex 1 according to Marpol to 7378. So this one, the oil is according to Marpol 7378. Then the second one is noxious liquid substances. Yeah, according to Annex to Marpol, which is there is a category X, Y, or Z in accordance with the regulation of Annex. So this one is basically number 1 and number 2 is basically relating to Marpol's Annex 1 and Annex 2. The definition of substances which is covered according to HNS fund. Okay. And number 3 is dangerous liquid substances. Yeah. So number 4 is dangerous, hazardous, and harmful substances, material, and ethical, according to IMDG code, International Maritime Dangerous Goods Code. Number 5 is liquefied gas, according to International Code for the construction and equipment of ship carrying liquid gas in bulk. Okay, that is the issue. But bearing in mind the regulation shall not apply, or the convention not apply to pollution limits as defined by CLC as amended, and also damage caused by radioactive material class 7. So that is the issue. If you see this one, if the convention, see this one, is already covered by CLC 1969, I already explained to you before. Yeah. So it will be not covered by Hazardous Noxious Substances Convention. So that is the issue. Then in Article 5, this convention also will not apply, does not apply to ship which is having size 200 GT, yeah, 200 GT, or which carry hazardous and noxious substances only in package form, while they are engaged on voyage between port or facility of that states. So seas mean is domestic or nationals, yeah, not international, jadi not international. That is the issue, yeah. So that is the meaning, domestic or national or not international. So does not apply. Okay, it's not necessary to be implemented. So this one is you want to see what kind of substances according to hazardous noxious substances convention. Then you can go to this website. Then you can see that, for instance, oil non-persistent. Yeah, is it considered the classification or not? And this one, oil non-persistent, is considered this one. Petroleum ether is oil, is not considered as HNS classification. Petroleum naphtha is non-persistent, then it is considered as HNS classification. So you can see all of those substances on hnsconvention.org. So that is the issues. And this one is limitation of liability under 2010 protocol. Maximum is 100 million SDR. SDR is special drawing right, is the currency of IMF. Okay, SDRs. So the maximum limit is 100 million. Where if the damage is caused by package HNS or by both bulk HNS and package, so there is some combination damage. So the maximum is 115 million SDR. Once this limit is reached, so if more than 100 million or 115 million, if there is two packets, then the second tier will be applied. The second tier's HNS fund will be implemented. Yeah. So first, insurance. I explained to you before. Insurance is a maximum 100 million SDRs. The number two then will be paid by HNS fund because more than 250 million. If maximum 250 million, then HNS fund will pay the rest 150 million. So let's say according to 2010 protocol, if the pollution control measure, yeah, let's say is 120 million, then 20 million SDRs, then it will be paid by HNS fund. So this is the definition of two-tier system. Okay, is it clear? Any questions? Any questions? Continue. So this one is the territorial application. Yeah. Where is the convention is possible to be implemented. So if this one I state here, yeah. So there is some area called This one is 12 nautical miles is a territorial sea. So if there is some accident happen in this area, okay, the victim is possible claim. This state A is possible to claim. Yeah. So and also it also possible more than 200 nautical miles as well. So if this one is more than 200 nautical miles in this case, yeah, and there is some accident here happen. So the contracting state A, in this case also is possible to claim to this ship. If there is some ship here, okay, this one is ship here. So it's possible to claim to these ships if the location 200 nautical miles. So EEZ, exclusive economic zone, is basically from here to here. Is the maximum is 200 nautical miles. Okay, so the claims is within the territory and territorial sea of a contracting states. So this one. Okay. Then applicable ships is any seagoing vessels or seaborne craft. Okay. But it does not apply to warship and government-owned non-commercial vessels unless specifically declared by contracting states. So there is a important mention. Okay. Then who is the liable party? Liable party is basically a party with is liables, or in term of the law is a responsibility in term of the in the law, means the person or person registered as the owner of the ship, or in the absence of registration, the person or person owning the ship. Yeah. So this one is we call it as the liable party. Okay. That is the meaning of liable party. Then what is the defense? Defense means the condition where a liable party is possible not liable to the victims if the damage or the pollution resulting from act of wars, civil wars, hostilities, and so on, or force measures, or this one is natural phenomena or force measures. So it's not considers the liability will be liable. The second one, the damage was wholly caused by an act of omission, yeah, or caused damage by a third party. Another one is by a negligent or other wrongful act of any government. I give you the example, if there is some wrong information relating to navigation map, which is issued by the government. So there is a navigation map which is issued by the government. In this case, the liable party, is it possible to avoid from the liability? Okay, because of the negligence of the government. So that is the issue, because The navigation map also informing the depth of the sea. Then when a ship is grounding because of wrong of the information, then those ships or the ship owner is possible to avoid from the liability. Yeah. And another one is the failures of shippers or any other person to furnish information concerning hazardous and noxious natures. If I want to send hazardous noxious substances but giving wrong information, then the liable party may not uh, or may not liable for avoid from the liability. So defense in this case is the condition where the liable party avoid from liability. Okay, this one is basically the condition of the liable parties. Then this one some restriction of the claim. Yeah. So claims against the owner is only allowed under the convention. Okay. There is some restriction. So there is another information. There is some right to claim the servants or against on the owner, on the member of the crew, the pilots, or any person who being a member of the crews perform services for the ship, any charterers or any persons performing salvage operation or taking preventive measure. This one is some restriction also of the claims. So this is the restriction pollution damage. So it must be, there is G here, defined in the International Convention on Civil Liability for Oil Pollution Damage. And there's also damage caused by radioactive material is not allowed. Yeah. So this one is some restriction. So we have to bear in mind such kind of condition. So as mentioned before, maximum of the limit of liability maximum is according to LLMC. And but there is no information clearly, no limit set by the convention. So the register owner ship having size more than 1,000 shall be required to maintain insurance or other financial security. But in all case, it's not exceeding amount of LLMC. So normally, 100 million special going right. I already mentioned before, loss of life or personal injury, yeah, or outside on board or outside the ship carrying hazardous noxious substances, loss of damage or damage caused by outside the ship carrying hazardous noxious substances. So this one is some damage is covered according to hazardous noxious substances. Okay. So you see this one, the maximum liability under HNS, as mentioned before, is 100 million ASEAN. But if there is some combination, 115 million SDR, already explained to you before. Okay. This one I also already explained you in the previous slide that the victim may obtain compensation from HNS fund. First, that if the victim has been unable to obtain full and adequate compensation from for the damage under HNS Convention. And second one, no liability for damage. Yeah, the owner is financially incapable of meeting obligation. It's not possible to pay. The damage exceeds the owner liabilities. Yeah, so it's not possible to pay or incapable of meeting obligation, bankrupt, and so on. Then the HNS1 will pay to the victims. That's the condition. However, HNS1 has no obligation in this case, resulting from act of wars, hostilities, civil wars, and so on. Yeah. Um, or the HNS will have escaped or been discharged from warship or ship operated by states. So it will be not compensated by HNS1. And another one, the claimant cannot prove that there is a reasonable probability that the damage resulting from the incident involving one or more ships. So this one also, HNS fund has no any obligation in this case. Okay. So those are all of our lecture today. If you have any questions, so please, thank you very much.